Topping today's news, 2 men and a woman charged with murder in the disappearance of Katrina Kelly on Eleuthera. Residents in Bozine Town get deeds to their land. The Prime Minister with encouraging words for parents and teachers ahead of the new school year, and a bomb scare disrupts operations at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport this morning. Good evening. I'm Torino Saunders. This is JCN News. It's a pleasure to have you joining us once again this evening. Today, police informing the public that 2 men, ages 31 and 34, and a 43-year-old woman were set to appear before the magistrate's court today to be arraigned on charges of murder, damage of property, and compounding a crime. The charges stem from investigations into the disappearance of 34-year-old Katrina Kelly, who was reported missing on Friday, August 14th, in the settlement of Bluff, Eleuthera. Kelly's body has not been located, but police detectives believe they have enough evidence to charge the 3 with murder. Kelly, who ran a car rental company, was last seen getting into a vehicle at a residence in Bluff, Eleuthera, along with 3 unidentified individuals, presumably to drop them off and collect her rental vehicle, a white Nissan Cube. Last year, Kelly's 23-year-old brother, Ashantio Johnson, a Bahamas Department of Correctional Services trainee officer, was fatally stabbed while at the Blue Ice restaurant and bar on Blue Hill Road North, making this incident even more painful for her family. After decades of legal battles, 33 families in the historic Bozine Town community received legal title to the land that they live on and that they have been living on for generations after a land developer tried to have them removed. Last year, the government took steps to acquire the land titles, which allowed residents to obtain lawful and marketable ownership. Prime Minister Philip Davis was on hand for the deed presentation on Thursday afternoon.
Bozine Town, today is your day. For years, you have lived with uncertainty over land that has been your home. You built your houses here, you built relationships here, and you raised your families here. And you watched generations grow up here. And yet, for too long, the security that should have come with calling a place home remained out of reach. My friends, that changes today. We take another important step toward giving the people of Bozine Town what they have waited so long to receive. The security of having formal title to the land that they have called home for years. And as you would have heard, successive governments were tackling this problem. And today, we have conquered those problems.
Controversy surrounding Bozine Town, an area located in New Providence, dates back to 2004, when the Harold Road Land Development Company claimed ownership of the land and ordered the area residents to vacate their homes within 2 weeks or face legal action. In March last year, Housing Minister Keith Bell gave notice in Parliament of a resolution seeking approval to acquire land titles in Bozine Town for just $10. The Prime Minister explained why the occasion yesterday was so important.
Today is an important day because land is where families put down roots, where homes are built and memories are made. Most importantly, it is something that can be passed from one generation to the next. Because the resolution we are moving toward today is not simply the result of government action, it is also the result of residents who refuse to give up. Residents who believe that their homes were worth fighting for. Community members who understood that this place, which was built over generations, should not just disappear because the legal status of the land had remained unresolved. So today, after years of uncertainty, court battles and waiting, we're helping to bring that chapter to a close. And this is just one of the reasons why this administration has chosen to confront land reform directly.
Some of the residents who received their deeds to their family land expressed excitement and appreciation. The deeds will allow the families to invest in their homes and build generational wealth without being worried about losing it all. while touring 3 public schools earlier this week to ensure their readiness for the new school year beginning Monday, August 31st. Prime Minister Philip Davis was asked if he had a message for parents of students as they head back into the new school year. He also had a word of advice for teachers.
First of all, I invite parents to be very much involved and engaged in their children's education through encouraging them, ensuring that they are focused on their homework, and ensuring that at home is a wholesome place for them to continue to work on things that they have learned at school. For the teachers, I just encourage them to continue to impart the knowledge to these children, to be tolerant with some of the challenges that these children are having. And I know and I'm confident that they do have the patience, they have the skill, and they have the empathy to impart the knowledge that they have to their children.
According to Education Minister Chester Cooper, there are 49 schools on New Providence that need repairs, in addition to schools on Grand Bahama and the other family islands. However, Mr. Cooper said going forward, the government will take a new approach to school repairs and maintenance.
We develop scopes at the beginning of the year. The principal make a list of all of the things they wish to be done. That goes onward to our maintenance team who refine those scopes, and then we send them out to contractors. Really what we want to try to do in the future is to have ongoing maintenance so that we're not rushing during the few weeks during the summer months to get this process complete.
According to Mr. Cooper, the total budget for this year's school repairs, approximately $20 million. The government says talks are continuing with United States officials as the Bahamas seeks relief from the 12.5% tariff imposed on some exports into the United States. Agriculture and Marine Resources Minister Jomo Campbell says several senior government officials have been involved in ongoing discussions, including the Minister of Trade and Foreign Affairs, while Prime Minister Philip Davis himself has also met with the U.S. Ambassador to the Bahamas, Herschel Walker, to discuss this matter. Mr. Campbell says the government is hoping to have the rate reduced to at least the previous 10% level, if not lower.
I can tell you there's been a lot of back and forth. There were over 2,100 meetings being held with over 60 countries involved. The Bahamas is unaffected by this alone, and I am able to say that Minister for Trade and Investment, Minister Fitzgerald, as well as Minister for Foreign Affairs, Minister Mitchell, and I'm also told that even as senior as the Prime Minister himself has had meetings with the American ambassador in that very same regard. And we have had in-house meetings with the persons from the fishing community. And in the very near future, hopefully, as the schedule of the ambassador permits, we will also be seeking to have a meeting with him and show on the 2% our projected platform as to the way forward to get us back. Hopefully not just to the 10% that we were prior to the 24th of July, but perhaps even lower.
Mr. Campbell says the government has also held meetings with members of the local fishing industry and plans further engagement with the United States ambassador as it continues to press its case. Hundreds of passengers in the departure lounge at the Lyndon Pinley International Airport were forced to evacuate the building around 11 a.m. this morning following a bomb scare. Emergency protocols were activated until the area was deemed to be safe for operations to resume. The incident resulted in delays and backups at the country's main gateway. This is not the first time a similar incident has happened like this back in March earlier this year. And finally in this segment, this week, the Free National Movement celebrating its historic 1992 victory, bringing an end to 25 years of PLP reign. The party was led by former PLP chairman Hubert Ingram, while speaking to party faithfuls on Wednesday night. The former prime minister, who still carries a great deal of influence within the FNM party and in the country itself, gave the current party leaders and executives of the FNM a bit of advice on how to win the government.
So, simply stated, the public did not like what we offered. Now, we may disagree with the public, but they are the ones who make the decisions. They don't like what we offered. So let's get busy preparing to win the next. Let's go. Let's go in search of and let's find all those F&Ms who strayed or gone silent. Bring them who scattered to different places and unite for us to win. Bring back their children and their grandchildren and bring others, new people into the party. Except one day. You have to inspire people to want to be with you. You can't force them to be with you. Whitfield was a damn good man, but he couldn't win. Isaac was a good man, he could not win. He did not win. And they decided themselves, that they could not win. They looked for somebody who could win. Your job is to find who could win for you. Whoever that is.
The F&M is currently led by party leader Michael Pintard and his deputy leader Shannon Don Cartwright, with Dr. Dwayne Sands as chairman. Earlier this year, the F&M decided to delay its convention until sometime in 2027, when party members will vote on the leadership of their party. We'll have more news on the other side of this break.
This segment of the news is brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.
Welcome back. Police have launched an investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death of a 48-year-old Cuban national who died on board an inbound flight on Thursday. Police were alerted after the male passenger on an inbound flight from London experienced a medical emergency and subsequently became unresponsive. Upon the aircraft's arrival, emergency medical personnel responded and continued resuscitation efforts. However, the man remained unresponsive and showed no vital signs of life. At this time, foul play is not suspected. An autopsy will be conducted to determine the exact cause of his death. As law enforcement fights to prevent Bimini from becoming overwhelmed with drugs and drug traffickers, police conducted Operation Northern Spear on Thursday, carrying out a series of road checks and executing several search warrants that resulted in the arrest of two males for drug-related offenses. It was shortly after 6:30 a.m. officers executed a search warrant at a residence in Baileytown, Bimini, and during that search, officers discovered a backpack containing some 116 suspected oxycodone pills and a small quantity of marijuana. The two males, ages 25 and 36, were arrested. The 116 suspected oxycodone pills, they are prescribed by doctors as painkillers for people who have severe pain, and the estimated street value, police estimate those pills to be worth about $2,300 on the streets in the black market. Here in the capital on Thursday, officers arrested 18-year-old Inslee Jean, who was wanted by the Criminal Investigations Department in connection with an armed robbery investigation. Two other males, ages 17 and 20, were also arrested during the operation. Police arrested the men around 7:30 p.m. at a property on Farmingdale Road, where they were sitting in a black Honda Civic vehicle. The 20-year-old male was also arrested on suspicion of harboring a fugitive. The third occupant, a 17-year-old male, was arrested for allegedly breaching his bail conditions. After a report Thursday night of 5 men believed to be missing at sea in the waters near Bimini, the family and friends of these men, they are relieved that they were found early this morning. The men left Porgy Bay, Bimini around 11:30 a.m. on Thursday, and by 11 p.m. last night, they did not return in their white twin-engine vessel. The Royal Bahamas Defense Force, along with the Royal Bahamas Police Force Marine Support Division, they began a search in addition to volunteers from Bimini also searching the area. At around 8 a.m. this morning, in the area of Isaacs, some 5 to 6 nautical miles from Bimini, they were found by the volunteers. Their vessel had reportedly ran out of fuel. And finally, on Wednesday, Grand Bahama swim team athletes were welcomed home at Western Air Airport by government officials, family, and friends after an impressive 4-peat win at the 30th Goodwill Swimming Championships in Trinidad and Tobago. Minister for Grand Bahama, Ginger Moxie, expressed pride in the young athletes and their accomplishments. Deputy Director of Sports, Norris Bain, also commending the athletes and coaches for their outstanding achievement, noting that while winning a championship once is an impressive accomplishment, securing the title 4 consecutive times is a remarkable feat for the Bahamas aquatics team. Well, folks, that'll do it for your JCN Evening News. Once again, I'm Jarino Saunders. Thank you so much for joining us on this Friday evening.
This segment of the news has been brought to you by Sun Oil Limited.